Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, America, and welcome to Pulse City. It's your boy, Marcus Harvey, Prince of Pan-Africanism, here today to talk about something very near and dear to my heart. I know it's very near and dear to your heart.
This is Angela Say This, Voice of the People. Today we are talking about Sandra Bland and honoring her legacy. About 5 years ago, Sandra Bland was found dead in police custody, and her death was officially ruled a suicide. However, like many of these, her friends and family and those of us who pay attention definitely aren't quite sure about exactly what happened and the circumstances surrounding her death.
Sandra Bland was originally from the Chicagoland area or the Chicago suburbs. She later on went to school down in Texas, and while living in Texas, she graduated from school, went back up to Chicago for a little while, but then came back down after she left the job. And one day she was driving down the road and a police officer pulled up very quickly behind her car. We find out later that this police officer was looking for a reason to stop Sandra Bland.
When I heard about this situation and when I heard about what happened to Sandra Bland and the circumstances surrounding her arrest, Sandra Bland's memorial service in the church that she was a member of is a church I've been to before. She was stopped for a traffic violation, and the law enforcement officer that stopped her decided to escalate a very minor situation and arrest her.
Nothing that he saw about her car or saw about her initially. He was just trying to find a pretextual reason to pull her over so that he could hit quotas and things like that. So anyway, he speeded up behind Sandra, and she thought he was trying to get past, so she moved over to the other lane, and that's when he pulled her over under the pretext that she didn't use her turn signal. Most people know that the meeting between the cop and Sandra went downhill fast. There became a struggle and an argument, and she went to prison. Now, this was filmed by bystanders. This was filmed by Sandra herself, as well as the dash cam on the officer's car.
We, as a people, have decided and have continued to decide that we're going to continue to say her name and to honor her legacy because that's what she would have wanted. She's got social media that's, I believe, still active, but I know at the time it was videos of her going on live and just talking about the plight of Black people and Black Lives Matter, and she was just about her people. She loved her people, and unfortunately, we have to show her the love back retroactively, those of us who didn't know her, right?
From what we hear, the officer was very overzealous when it comes to how he handled Sandra. Once in prison, Sandra was not attended to. She was going through a stressful situation, as any of us would be in prison. During this time, police officers had checked on her. They deprived her of many things that, normal prisoners would receive. People, some friends and family members, boyfriends and things ignored her, as well as, it was the perfect storm of bad things happening to young Sandra Bland.
And that is something that I think about quite often when I think about Sandra Bland, is just how her life was stolen, how her new journey was stolen from us. I am one of the people that believes that she did not commit suicide while she was in a holding cell.
One day, prison staff found her hanging from a trash bag in her cell. They said that she killed herself. Now, this type of story brings a lot of trauma, a lot of hurt to Black people who have witnessed these types of things, where police officers or other non-Black people treat you as less than human. Now, this story picked up a lot of steam. It became national news throughout the past 5 or 6 years. Nothing ever happened to the officer. He did lose his job, but he never went to jail. The staff at the prison never went to jail. Everybody just went on about their lives, except for Sandra and her family.
All kinds of laws were broken yesterday at the Capitol building, and white supremacists holding the flag of the Confederacy and of Trump. People like that aren't afraid of the police and law enforcement because they know that it's a very small chance that anything escalates to the level that it does for Black people on a regular basis for very small things. I've been pulled over by the cops multiple times in my life. I've even been arrested for a traffic violation, driving with a suspended license and not even knowing it was suspended, because the police officer himself told me, "Oh, I know you didn't know your license was suspended because the letter hasn't been sent to your home yet."
Where does that leave Black people? Because that situation where an officer pulls you over for a missed turn signal can happen to any Black person. It can happen to anybody. And if you had been driving through the town that Sandra was driving in, you'd be in jail right now too. You would be in prison. And who knows if maybe you can't make bail. Who knows what would happen to you? And I think that these type of stories have got to center Black people, and especially when it's a Black female, right? Because we hear about the Eric Garners, the Amadou Diallos, the Ahmaud Arbery's, any host of Black males who have been victimized by police. And we don't want to let that off, because we know our Black sisters experience many of the same things as our Black brothers, if not worse.
It's there. You can see the video. I know it's online. It was online then. I'm sure it's online now still, of the traffic stop and how it was escalated simply because this particular law enforcement officer wanted to abuse his authority. She didn't do anything outwardly wrong either. She was a Black woman who had been driving for hours, who was smoking a cigarette, and who was annoyed she was getting arrested or getting stopped by the police. And that annoyance got escalated because then she got arrested for not.
Probably most other cultures don't experience. I know if I talk with my family, you talk with your family, or older generations, or even people in different parts of the country, other Black people in different cities, you'll see that we're dealing with a lot. We got to talk about these things amongst each other, right? Because it's real. But we also got to talk about it continually within the community.
We code switch on a daily basis at work. We note that if we are stopped by the police, to put our hands at 10 and 2 and to put our identification and everything out right away, so we don't have to reach for anything, because if we reach for anything, we could die. I know my white friends and colleagues, they don't have to go through that. They were never taught to do that, because they were taught that the police protect them. Unfortunately, my family and Black people all over this world don't necessarily believe that all police officers are there to protect them. And we have generations and generations of evidence in the midst of times like this, and when stories like Sandra Bland's and things pop up, because there's almost always one all of the time, unfortunately. It's really important to me sometimes to just completely unplug and turn it off. Really, just be present with my parents and my sisters, and just really sit with the people that are in front of me. We walk outside, well, not so much now during the pandemic, but we walk into the outside world and we have a protective coating on ourselves. When we come home, it's important to take it off. Unplugging from social media sometimes, turning the news off sometimes, and just being present with the people that you love, or just with yourself. Take time with yourself. I pray, I light candles, I do yoga, I'll dance. Those of you who know me know I'm a dancer, so I'll dance, I'll write, I'll zone out to some music and just be present in your thoughts, but just always taking the time to not always be woke in every situation, or about every situation. It's important to be aware. So you're taking a day or two or a week even to maybe not engage in your social media and not engage with what's going on, and be really, really present with what's happening in front of you. I think that's really important for us, and Black people in particular, because so many things around us are against us. We have people in the highest offices of this country who would rather we not be here. You have to take that weight off And to me, I think it's really important that sometimes when you cross the threshold of your home, your apartment, your room, you have to have a space where you are safe, and that stuff has to come off. So with that being said, Pulse City family, take care of yourselves. Sandra Bland, we say your name, we honor you, we remember you. To her family and friends, we have our hearts and our love and our prayers are always with you. Pulse City fam, I'm Angela Say This, voice of the people, and I will see y'all next time.
These stories and these lived experiences must be discussed continually and shared amongst us as well as the general public to keep them at the forefront. I think this way is a great way to combat these experiences and stop them before they occur and stop them from creating more PTSD within the Black community. Thank you for coming to Pulse City, and I hope you have a very good evening. Talk to you later. Bye.
Oh my god. Orange is not my new black.